Okay, the last step of this unit, finally, Unit 2, Section 6 is maintenance. The whole section of this unit is literally maintenance. Maintain your decluttered space. Decluttering is a one-time deep reset. It's a one-time thing. But maintaining that order is where the real work comes in. And that's where the real freedom comes in as well. The goal isn't just to clean the room for a week. It's to permanently reduce clutter and maintain clarity in your life. Step 1 is to create a cleaning and maintenance schedule. The first step in maintaining your space is routine. Decide which days are for what. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm gonna clean the bathroom. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I'm going to clean the upstairs and blah, 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 right? Create a schedule to clean your room, clean up your work area, and then certain days of the week for smaller tasks like washing dishes, doing laundry. Set aside specific time for even social media. 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. is when I'm gonna only check social media for 30 minutes a day. Maintain that schedule. Consistency is key. Decluttering itself, it's like a reset button. Maintenance is the daily reboot that keeps your life functional and stress-free. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't just brush your teeth once a month, and then you expect your teeth to be clean for the rest of the day. The same goes for your space. Just because you brushed your teeth yesterday morning, you shouldn't expect your teeth to be cleaned the next morning. You know what I mean? You have to maintain brushing your teeth regularly, a couple times a day. But obviously when it comes to cleaning the room, you don't have to clean it a couple times a day. Maybe set a schedule for once a week or once every month. Step 2 is practice minimalism. Minimalism ties directly into upkeep. And you heard it before, but it bears repeating. Keep only what serves you purpose or what brings you joy. Regularly assess your items and habits. Avoid buying things just because they're on sale or they're trendy. Or you might buy it because I might use it someday. By living minimally, you make maintenance effortlessly. Less stuff equals fewer decisions. It equals to fewer chores and fewer opportunities that slip through the cracks. Avoid buying things that you don't need. Because the more things you buy, the more items that you have, and the more items you have equals the more time it equals to upkeeping that particular items. Step 3 is to follow the buy one, take one rule, or buy one, remove one rule. We talked about this in the last section. Before bringing in new items into your home, remove an old item. You want to buy a t-shirt, donate, sell, or throw away the one that you already own. You want to buy a new phone, get rid of something similar, get rid of the old phone. This habit prevents slow accumulation. You maintain balance without even having to think about it. This is especially effective for clothes and miscellaneous items. Video games are a bit different. Flexibility is always going to be allowed because I'm not telling you what to do. This is your life. But there's always flexibility when it comes to this rule. But the same, kind of principle applies to most household items, is that before you buy an item, decide if you should take away an item. You want to buy one, before you decide to buy a new thing, you buy it, and then when you come home, you decide, before I add this on my bookshelf, before I keep this, is there something that I should take away? It's more of borrowing. You're an exchange of items. You buy one and then you take one, whether you donate it, give it away, or throw it away. Step 4, and that's also just a tip. You don't have to follow that rule of everything that you buy you have to give away one item. That's not true. But it's just something to have in the back of your head, especially when it comes to clothes. It comes very helpful when it comes to clothes. Step 4 is the self-awareness. Becoming self-aware is having maintenance in step 4. Maintenance isn't just about cleaning. It's about being mindful about your consumption. Consumption. These are just bullet points. Do you really need that second item because it's on sale? Are you letting consumerism dictate your decisions? Are you buying to satisfy the impulse that you have to buy it instead of genuinely needing something? Because there's a difference between needing an item and wanting an item. There's a difference between needing, because needing is you need to have it or you will die. Wanting is just, I would like to have it, but I'll be fine without it. Becoming self-aware is the ultimate tool for preventing clutter. Every purchase, I have to practice. Every purchase. Now this sounds like I'm saying shits. Purchase. Every purchase should have purpose, not just physical appeal. Moving on to step 5 is to understand consumerism and avoid temptation. Stores are designed to tempt you, especially department stores are designed to tempt you. Buy one, get one free. And confusing multi-item discounts. For example, buy 2, get the second one free. Buy 3, get the 69 one free. While it may feel like you're saving a few dollars, because that's how they get you. They use confusing wording of buy one, get one. Or if you buy this jacket, or if you spend more than $100, you get $20 off your next visit. You often end up spending much more than intended. Because even, if you spend $100 of store credit, and then, you spend $100, you get $20 off your next visit. That just makes you come again. That's what she said. Because what's the likelihood of you actually spending $20 your next visit? You're probably going to spend $100, and then you go back to the register and say, hey, I got this card that says I get $20 off, then you get $20 off. You know what I mean? You are still buying whatever impulse that you are pursuing in your heart. Are you actually buying items out of impulse, or are you actually buying the things that you need to have? That's why stores use very confusing language. Buy 5, and get the other one free. But in order to get that one free, you have to buy 5 t-shirts. So think about that. On paper, it sounds like a good deal, but it's not. For example, this is something I typed up comedically. This is supposed to be funny, but this is very much a true life story. Sort of. It's not really true, but it has happened, I am sure. Like, for example, you plan on buying a t-shirt for $20. Okay, you walk into a store, you plan on buying a t-shirt for $20 because that's your budget, and you want to buy a t-shirt, all right? And then you see a sign, a big red sign, or a big white sign in red letters. A lot of stores do that. They do white signs with big, bold, colorful letters. But anyway, you see a sign that says 2 for $35. In a way, you're saving money. Because if your intention was to buy to buy one that day and you leave with 2 shirts, it's a win-win, right? Stores advertise sales to make it seem like you're saving money because 2 times 20 is $40. But with this deal, you ideally, that doesn't sound right. Ideally, I have to practice that word. Ideally save $5. Look at it this way. You leave the store spending $15 more than you originally planned. But the store profits $35 off of you. Because if your plan was to spend $20, but you end up spending $35, in a way, yeah, I saved $5 because I bought 2 shirts instead of 1. But the store still profits $35 off of you. On top of that, stores have a tendency to make overly confusing sales. Like buy 3 shirts, get the other pair of jeans free. But that's only if you buy a parka jacket. And it's in the middle of the June, right? Stores have a tendency to go, oh, if you buy 3 t-shirts, you get a free pair of pants. But you only get a free pair of pants if you decide to buy a winter coat in the middle of June. Yeah. Or after you purchase the items, they give you a store card coupon, but there's always a but. They always tell you if you spend $100 today, you get $10 off, your next visit with this card, right? And you're told hypothetically, you're told that if you spend $500 today at the store, you get a free pair of shoes for your choosing the next visit. With this knowledge in mind, you think, that's a sweet deal, right? Until you read the fine print. Till later, you must spend $500 within 3 months of receiving the coupon. So you give in and you spend the $500 to get that free pair of shoes. Because it sounds enticing, right? Get a free pair of shoes if you spend $500, when in reality, that free pair of shoes is probably $100 value. The store still profits $400 off of you. But there is always a but in this situation. There's always a but. As you're walking around the store, thrilled about getting a new pair of shoes, you go up to the counter with your Air Jordans that you picked out because you get a free pair of shoes because you spent $500. And the value of the shoe is $150 flat, right? And you hand the cashier your special little coupon. It's even the same cashier that you went up to 3 months ago who gave you the same exact coupon. They ring up the shoes. You're excited to wear them until they say, yeah, this coupon only works for kids' shoes. You respond, kids? And then you go, then the cashier goes, well, yeah. And then you go, but I remember you said from 3 months ago, you told me that if I spent $500 within 3 months, which that has been 3 months, that I could come back and get any pair of shoes that I want without any value, without my choosing. The cashier goes, yeah, but we changed our policy a week ago. The cashier replies. And then you say, but it's on the card, you say. It's permanent, it's in black ink, it's permanent. Then the cashier goes, well, read the fine print on the back of the card, sir. It says sales are subject to change, right? And then you say, yeah, but what does that even mean? Why say any shoes of my choosing on the card? I'm a grown-ass man. I am 6'5", 275. What am I going to do with a size 3 shoe? The cashier goes, well, give them to your kids or donate to charity, the cashier says. And then you say, ma'am, I am 19 years old. I am still in college. I do not have any kids. And then so now what? Not only did you spend $500 just to use a stupid coupon to get a pair of shoes that's $150 value, but the store still profits about $350 off of you, maybe $450, depending on how much the shoe is. And so you walk out of the store looking like a fool. You do. And you're the one who walked out with kids' shoes. You take the shoes anyway and give them to charity. At the end of the day, you're mad, but also you feel humbled. You now own a useless parka jacket in your closet in the middle of June, a litany of shirts that you probably will never wear, and pants you don't even like, but bought because they were on sale or they were for free. But at least a child somewhere in need got a new pair of Air Jordans because of your despise. But you're still mad, and now you're questioning whether you should drop out of college. This is the danger of capitalism, people. This is the danger of capitalism, cannibalism, people. All right? This story could be very much true. So now you're left with adult shoes that you actually wanted, which was $150 flat, but you decided to get the kids' shoes because you couldn't get the adult size shoes because some policies or something changed, whatever. The store still profits about $350 off of you. You have now a useless parka jacket in the middle of June. Mind you, you live in California when you don't even need a parka jacket in the middle of June as is anyway. And then you have shirts and jeans that you just got because they were on sale and they were on free. And you wanted to get $500. Well, you wanted to spend $500 in order to get a new pair of shoes because it sounds like a good deal. But it's not a good deal. The moral of the story, changing your environment and setting strict budgets protect you from these lies. They protect you from the lies the government has bestowed upon us. Avoid stores or limit the exposure if they are a trigger overspending habit for you. Originally, if you were disciplined enough, okay, I'm going to spend $50 or $20 or $100 today. And then you walk out spending $100, you feel good. You feel good. Do not overconsume. Do not be tempted with these sales of spend $500 store credit and when you come back, you get a new pair of jeans. Yeah, they profit $400 off of you. Yeah. It seems like a good deal because when people see the word free, it's like, oh my God, free. But what does that entail? You know, you always have to give some and lose some, right? There's always a sacrifice. 80% of the time when something is listed for free, there is always a but. There are not nice people in the world, especially in 2026. In this world, everything revolves around money. Everything revolves around, how can this benefit me? How can this benefit me? Not how it can benefit you. A lot of businesses work that way. How can me as an employee benefit? How can me as a boss, as a CEO benefit from this sale, right? That's how people make money. It's very much true. So be careful about these sales because this is a very much true story. There's 2 billion people in the world, I think. I think there's more, I'm not really sure. There's a lot of people living on Earth, and you can't tell me this hasn't happened at least once. A guy comes in with a budget of $20. He just wants to buy one shirt. That's it. One shirt, that's it. And then he leaves spending $100. He leaves spending $500. In a way, you can say, oh, well, he got, 10 pairs of shoes. In a way, you can say, well, he got 10 pairs of new shirts and he got a free pair of jeans. But at what cost? At what cost? Because he's not even happy with the clothes that he bought as is, because all he wanted was the shoes. But if you really thought about it, if you really sat down and thought about it, the shoes that he wanted was $150, of value. If he would have just spent $150 value of the shoes, he wouldn't have to spend $500 more on shoes, right? But at least a kid in need got free Jordans. Always read the fine print. Always have a budget. And I know I'm reading I'm reading too much into it, but this is very much true. That this is a real thing that is happening. It is. Because if you really think about it, when you go into the store with cash in hand and you read the sign, buy one get one free. Oh my God, it's good, right? But then 50% of the time, it's you have to buy this particular jacket, or it only works for certain items, like buy one get one free. Maybe that's not for the whole store. Maybe that's only buy one get one free only if you buy a jacket. But then all the jackets are $100, over, That's how stores get you. That's how stores get you. Or they buy one get one free only if you spend $100, or buy one get one free only if you buy this particular shirt, or if you shop in this particular section, and everything in that particular section is always $100 over. That's how they get you. And then when the sale is over, the prices of the shirts drop, because that's how they get you. It evens out. That's how they get you. Do not become a product of cannibalism, capitalism. Both are actually pretty relevant. You should stay away from both, as is cannibalism and capitalism. In a way, capitalism and cannibalism are the same thing. In the end, you both end up dead. I'm just saying. In the end, you both end up eating ass. In the end, you both end up Schitt's Creek with no paddle. Truly. Have a budget, guys. Have a budget and stick with it. Hopefully I didn't scare you. I hope this wasn't a jump scare. Currently, I'm in the process of editing this video. The date is January 26th, so many days after the fact. I wanted to point this out, that imagine this guy, his name's David. Imagine if he would have just originally bought the Air Jordans with the cash without doing all the coupon sale. I hate that the screen is glaring on my glasses. Anyway. If he would have originally just bought the Air Jordans with his cash, he would have saved $300 without doing this sale. This is a thing that happens all the time. It may not be a true story, it's just something that I made up. But this is very much true. If you would have just originally bought the item that you wanted without doing all this extra stuff in the middle, because look what he is left with. He's left with shoes that don't fit him. Step 6 is declutter once and maintain it forever. You don't need to declutter once and that's it. A true deep declutter only needs to happen, once every year or once every couple of years. But after that, use schedules, minimalism, and self-awareness tactics to maintain your order. A weekly or a monthly tidy up keeps your space functional. Think of deep decluttering as in leveling up in a video game. Once you beat that level, you never have to beat it again. But you have to maintain... Wait, that actually doesn't make sense. But once you beat that level, maintaining it keeps you in the new zone without starting from scratch every time. When I wrote this, it made more sense in my head, but speaking it doesn't make any sense. Right? You get what I mean. Is that once you declutter now, once you do the big decluttering right now, you won't ever have to do a big decluttering. If you, of course, maintain the cleanliness that you have. Just a thought. Step 7 is to set budgets to support maintenance. Finally, create a financial plan that reinforces your decluttered lifestyle. Create a budget for essentials, not impulses. Track purchases, and only buy what adds value to your life. Not what's more expensive, but what actually adds value to your fucking life. Avoid, just because items. Like, just because it's on sale, or just because it's cheap, or I might need it just in case. And then if you need it, and then buy it. Just don't buy it for just in case. It's just that simple. Create a budget of how much money you want to spend on clothes. Create a budget every year and don't go over that budget. It's really important to have fun. We all like to buy things. It feels good, but we don't want to overconsume because that's the problem. Key takeaways for maintaining your space is routines are very essential. Schedule, cleaning, tidying up, time, social media. When you want to use social media, use it consciously. That's the word. Consciously. Yep. And when it comes to minimalism is the foundation of decluttering. The fewer items that you have, the less time you have to pick up those items, right? It just makes sense. When maintaining your space, minimalism is the key. And then also another tip on decluttering is the buy one, take one rule. If you want to buy something new, try to take one away. The next one is to become self-aware. Recognize consumerism. Recognize it. When you go into these stores, go with open eyes. Literally, look around and really think. I have a budget that I want to spend $200 today. And stick with it. The next one is deep decluttering once. Maintain your decluttering afterwards, after it has happened. And don't repeat decluttering if it's not necessary. You only have to declutter it once in your life. Only once, a deep declutter. Then all of it is just maintenance, keeping it maintained. And then the last one is keep a budget. Ensure that purchases align with their lifestyle. Only buy what you need. Maintenance is freedom in action. Maintenance is freedom in action. Once you master this, you can finally live in a space that supports your lifestyle and not distract from your lifestyle. Self-awareness and intentional living are the real keys of life, or the real keys on how to declutter. Because if you maintain it, you don't have to clean all the time. Okay, this is your homework for Unit 2, Section 6, Maintenance. I look like Clark Kent. Little hair right there. I look like Clark Kent. When at the height of my speech impediment, everyone would say, "Oh, what's your favorite superhero? What's your favorite superhero?" And I could never say Clark Kent because of the R. I couldn't pronounce my R's that well. And then same thing with Spider-Man. I couldn't say Spider-Man. I would always say like I can't even replicate it. It was like Spider. I have conditioned my brain to pronounce it correctly that I can't even say it incorrectly. But before my speech, before that I corrected it, I would literally sound like I was 5. I would. I couldn't pronounce my R's. I couldn't. Even when I would say Peter Parker, I couldn't say Peter Parker. I couldn't because of the R's, but now I can. Anyway. This is your homework for Unit 2, Section 6 of Maintenance. These are 6 steps. Step 1 is to create a cleaning and maintenance schedule. 2 is practice minimalism. Minimalism is going to be, it is the core of maintenance. 3 is to follow the buy one, take one rule, or the buy one, remove one rule. Every time you buy an item, decide if you should take away an item. It works 50% of the time. Not all the time, but it works 50% of the time. Next step is 4 is to practice self-awareness as maintenance. Becoming self-aware around capitalism and cannibalism is important. I shouldn't joke about cannibalism because it's a very real thing. But anyway, becoming self-aware of the things that you own and the things that you buy. Because there's difference between wanting an item and needing an item. Like for example, I can use myself as an example. I want, I'm trying to come up with an example that everyone can relate to. Oh, shoes. I guess clothes are a good thing. Well, okay, what about this? No. Oh, shoes are a good. Okay, for example, I think I have 10 pairs of shoes. I'm not really sure, right? I want new shoes. I want new shoes, but do I need new shoes? Knowing that I have a litany of Air Jordans that are in perfect condition. Probably not, right? I want new shoes, but do I need new shoes? Do I need it? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. You know, or like my camera, for example. I'm going to get a new camera soon. Just look at that. Do I want a new camera? Yeah. Do I need one? Right now, I don't need a new camera, but in the future, I probably will. Right? And right now, I'm saving up for a bike so I could walk my dog. So I'm saving up for a electric bike, a bike where I can sit down. Because if you don't know, I have health conditions where I can't stand for long periods of time because I have low blood sugar. My symptoms duplicate the symptoms of POTS. You know, POTS is, I don't have POTS, but POTS is a very real thing. But my symptoms almost mimic the same as POTS. I can't stand for long periods of time. I have reactive hypoglycemia, and then I have empty stomach syndrome. I want a new bike, but I also need a bike so that I could walk my dogs. My dogs are in dire need of exercise, and this sucks because I can't walk any longer than like 10 to 20 minutes at a time in a day. So I need a bike. You know, there's a difference between it's a life and death situation, or do you really need it, or do you really want it? Step 5 is to understand consumerism and to avoid temptations. 6 is to do a deep declutter, maybe once or twice in your life, and then maintain it forever. You know, and it goes back to step 1 and 2 is to create a schedule. When you declutter your room once, you only have to do it like once, do a deep clean. And then follow these steps on how to maintain it. You know, practice minimalism so that you don't have to go in every couple weeks or a couple months and do a deep clean. Deep clean is only like once or twice a year, or maybe even not even that. Once you declutter, you don't have to keep decluttering. You just maintain it. And then step 6 is to create budgets to support maintenance. Because we all like to buy things. We all do. We all like to buy things. Have a budget of I'm gonna only spend $100 on miscellaneous items a month, or $200 miscellaneous items a month, right? Have a budget and keep to that budget. Keep to that budget. This only goes for things that you consume, not so much of light bill, water bill, car payments. Those aren't really. I'm not talking about paying bills as sort of consumerism. I'm talking about like items that you wear, like the clothes. You know, you don't really need clothes, but you know, people wear clothes. I'm not talking about bills or insurance bills. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about items that you actually have. Create budgets. So this concludes the end of section 2, sadly. In the next unit, we're going to be talking about look smacking. Look smacking and self-care. You know, the morning routine, the night routine. These videos of I do this in the morning, they're so confusing because you watch these morning routines and one person will tell you to use a toner. Then the next video you watch is don't use a toner. Then the next video is don't use this type of sunscreen, use this one. It's confusing. In Unit 3, we're going to be talking about self-care. Officially, this is the end of Unit 2. And like I said back in Unit 1, that I made a promise that Unit 1 and Unit 2 are going to be the longest, most in-depth, which is true. Units 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be pretty easy to watch. I think they're going to be no longer than 2 hours each, I think. Not in total, but I think they're going to be 2 hours each. I think. I haven't filmed it, but according to my script, they're not going to be very long. I'll see you in the next video of section 3, and no matter how insane you may be, there is always someone out there to complete the insanity. Another thing that I want to point out before I end this footage is there's still a class playlist. Hold on. With all of these videos, there's always going to be a class playlist and a Google document that comes with it. So for example, you click on any one of these, how to self-improve for dummies. You click on the video, and then you go in the description or in the comment section. Let me see. And then in the description, there's a link to the to a class document of the video. And then also there's a link to the Unit 2 playlist, which is basically a collection of videos that I've referenced throughout the course of the current video, of the current unit. And then also videos that I recommend you guys watch based on what we have learned in the current unit. And then 2, let me go back. It's also linked in the comment section. Every one of these how to self-improve for dummies guys, I always pin a comment with the link right here. There's a link to the Unit 2 playlist and the link to a Google document if you want to follow along as well. And that goes with every single one of these how to self-improvement guys. I wanted to clarify, I don't think I was very clear with that there's a guide if you want to help with that, and then there's a litany of YouTube videos that follow the unit as well. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.